Hi, and welcome to episode 108 of M1 Yarns and the Michigan Makers Podcast. If you're new here, my name is Jamie. I'm a yarn dyer based here in Metro Detroit, Michigan, and my yarn brand is M1 Yarns. Today's episode is kind of different from our ordinary format. And if you're new here, this is a mostly knitting and fiber arts related podcast, so if that's your jam, grab a cup of something and maybe your project and we'll chat. But like I was saying, this episode is a little bit different than the usual, where I kind of talk about what I'm making, new stuff in the shop, festivals I'm vending at, because this one is solely dedicated to recapping my recent trip to upstate New York, where I attended two knitting events. One was a woolen affair on the Friday of the weekend, and then Saturday and Sunday of that weekend I attended the New York Sheep and Wool Festival. I traveled with 4 of my good knitting friends, and we road tripped from Metro Detroit, picked up one of the friends in Pennsylvania, and stayed the night in Pennsylvania, and then carried on the next morning to upstate New York. So I'm going to share with you some of the hysterical moments from that road trip, because I don't think you can have a road trip without a tale to tell, basically. And I do love to travel, but I always feel like every trip something will go wrong without fail. And once that one thing goes wrong, I tend to breathe a sigh of relief. And that one thing took a minute to develop, which we'll dive into that. But I'm going to share with you the things I bought so I can highlight the makers that are behind these purchases, many of whom, nearly all of them, I got to speak with directly for a significant amount of time. If you and I met there, whether you're a maker or a fellow attendee, just know that this is the one knitting festival of the year that I attend as an attendee rather than a vendor. And I have so much fun on this trip. I get to shop, I get to observe things from the other side of the booth. It's really a joy, and I'm just excited. So, first let me tell you about this, because this is one of my purchases. And you know me, I always talk about what I'm drinking on here because it varies. It can be a wide range of things, from tea to tequila. So this is a mug I just purchased while attending a woolen affair. And the maker behind this beautiful piece of craftsmanship is Golden Earth. And my group of fellow travelers, we had long been following her Instagram and been obsessing over her beautiful designs. Well, I decided that this is the one for me. The turquoise, I do love turquoise, but the turquoise was kind of a nod to the logo in the Fresh Coast Fiber Festival, which, if you're not aware, is a brand new fiber festival in Traverse City that I am organizing, and it will be held at the end of next May in Traverse City. Everything that I talk about, including that, is linked below, so don't worry, I'm giving you all my notes. Anyway, I bought this mug, love the turquoise, and what I'm drinking in it today is a little mulled wine, because it is cloudy, it is late October, it is also 5 o'clock somewhere, mainly it is 5 o'clock here right now. I was really hoping to record this episode in one shot without editing, but I just saw an alert on my phone that my Whole Foods order is about to get delivered, so I might have to run and do that with a quick edit in between. So just hang in there with me. But I felt like I needed some warm and cozy something, an inaugural drink for this mug. So here we are. All right, my Amazon order, amazingly fast, just got delivered. Let me go grab it. I'll be right back. Okay, Amazon, Whole Foods, same thing. Order delivered, unpacked, put away. Bada bing, bada boom. I usually talk about what I'm wearing too, don't I? And you're probably sitting there saying, wow, that looks really oversized on you, Jamie. Daisy, without fail, you always kick the tripod. Can you go lay down, please? Go lay down. Anyway, yes, I knit this for my husband, who's a 48 chest, while I'm a 34 chest. And he picked the color, he picked the pattern. I can't remember the name of the pattern. It is a unisex pattern that I would knit again because I really love a good like Henley design. It's only these 2 buttons. It's a top-down seamless raglan, as you can probably surmise. But after I knit this to his measurements, he decided that he thought it would look better on me, so he gave it back. Rude. And believe me, I give him a lot of you-know-what for that. Anyway. Okay, so should we dive in? I think this will be a fun way to tell you about some really fun makers. And the first thing I just really want to say while I'm grabbing a few things is that I really enjoyed talking with fellow vendors about their experience, their year. I shared with them about Fresh Coast Fiber Festival, so I'm hoping that brings a special element to Traverse City next May. So my group of fellow travelers, one of whom is Sarah of Coffee Knits with Sarah. You might want to go check out her podcast because she does an excellent chat on her episodes. She has a very soothing presence, and she bought some really cool things at the festival that I know that she's going to share on her podcast. So anyway, our whole group decided that we would purchase this year's tote bag. Mine has some sort of dirt on it, so don't mind that. I'll just cover that with my fingers. I don't normally buy the tote bag when I go to things, but I do love a good tote bag. This year's design really got me. So I did use this. Obviously, it got dirty, and I really loved it. What I loved is it has pockets. Well, not on the front, just on the back. Very functional. I really love this bag. So I'm thinking I should get a bag like this. Available for sale for Fresh Coast Fiber Festival. If you guys are ready for merch, which I've started to get some messages, let me know. It wasn't on my radar until like a next spring type of thing, but maybe it should be. I don't know. So I got the bag, and I also got the shirt. I got a long sleeve, like a tunic style, which I think would be cute with leggings. And it's slightly more, well, I guess it's crew neck. It looks a little bigger. Can't wait to wear this. And then I got a sticker. And now that I'm saying that, I'm like, what did I do with this sticker? It's probably in something. So we'll get to that. Okay, maybe I should start with the things I bought at a Woolen Affair. Now that I've shown you stuff from... Does it matter? It doesn't matter. You guys are sitting there saying, Jamie, it doesn't matter. Let's start with the bags, since we started with a tote bag. There is a bag maker called Red Stag something. I don't know why my brain just went completely blank. The rest of the name escapes me, and I don't think she puts her name on her bags. I found other stickers, but not... Hold on. Red Staggerwing. Here's her logo. Cute. I've long admired her bags, never bought one. And we were talking about things, and she brought this one out of hiding. I won't read it out loud in case you have children in the room, but if you know me, I love a good sweary word. And she couldn't decide whether or not she wanted to make more of these. I guess it was part of a custom order, and then she thought she'd like keep a few extra. I love it. So that's that. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, notions or whatever. And then I got this one from, I have something in it, so it looks a little bulgy, so I'm going to take it out. Solulu. Here's the logo. Solulu handmade. This is the bag. This is Harris tweed, as I'm sure you might be familiar with. And I do love a good metal zipper. So that was fun. This was the last of its kind. Love that. So that was it for bags. Every year I go to this vendor, Purple Hummingbird Woolens. She makes size-specific hand-cranked socks. She cranks these on a sock knitting machine. And I've bought a pair every year from her for like the last definitely 4 years. This was my 6th Rhinebeck. It might be 6. Quite possibly. I know I have at least 4 pairs from her, and I only buy 1 pair a year. By the time I get there, which I always get there early, she is somehow low on my size, which I wear a size 6.5 in women's. So these are great because I didn't have to knit them, yet they're wool socks. And because I have small feet, a lot of things don't fit me well. So, I'll save that. I bought this book, Yoga of Yarn, and this cork ball. And I think that this will be a really good winter kind of, I don't know, self-care situation. She has, what's really cool, I met her at the book barn, as I like to call it, at Rhinebeck. She has illustrations in here that are really beautiful. She was lovely to chat with. This is her. She does knitting retreats, and I have always wanted to go to a yoga knitting retreat. Really cute graphics and like little practices. So the cork ball is supposed to be therapeutic, and with all my hand pain that I've been having the last few years, I thought this would be really nice. She said you can do like massage with it. So her name is Liza Laird, and it was really a pleasure to purchase this. Okay, at a Woolen Affair, I finally got to meet someone I have long followed. And by the way, I'm going to intersperse some, if I haven't already, some footage that I took of the whole weekend. So you get kind of a, it's not just me talking. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, at a Woolen Affair, I finally got to meet Tammy of Yarn and Whiskey. I always want to call her business something else. It's like my brain wants to complicate it. But she makes beautiful bags. She makes beautiful prints. And she had one of these silk scarves in her booth, and I fell in love with it. So that, I bought this on Friday. The next day, I wore it as a belt with basically like an all black outfit. and all you could see was kind of like the tails hanging down. I got so many compliments. It was so funny that you could see so little of this, but it was so impactful. Tammy is very talented, and her partner Clay took some really great photos. So if you go follow her on Instagram, she links, I think she just had a post, or was it a newsletter? I don't know. But this was like a real, it's 100% silk, a real prized possession from a woolen affair. So love that. The thing that I mentioned in the beginning, the like one bad thing that happened, I'm going to tell you that at the very end. Okay, so this must have been the year of buttons. I found my sticker. I also found another sticker. This is by Golden Earth Designs, the person who made this. So let me put my stickers with my stickers. What did I do with it? I had some other stickers in here. I might as well just tell you about that, and then we'll get back to the buttons. How does that sound? I bought these stickers at a little shop in Rhinebeck, downtown Rhinebeck, that sells, it's like a little toy store. So these are all going on the trailer, I think. This, just because. And then this, just because. The rest of my stickers, I think I'm going to go on coffee cups and things like that. So this was the year of the buttons. Andrea Mowry released a cardigan earlier this year where she used Hoof farm store buttons. And ever since then, I have wanted to check them out. They are from, was it Ohio? Yes. I had a lovely chat with the ladies of Hoof, and I'm really hoping that they come to Yarn and Whiskey. But I bought 3 different sets of buttons from them. These coffee mugs, just because I couldn't resist. Mind you, I have no cardigan plans at the moment. I mean, I have very rough cardigan plans. But I just bought the buttons because I love them. These were just too cute because they were like kind of matte background with the gloss of the, I don't know, are we calling these wasps? Are we calling them bees? I struggle on that point. Comment below. And then I got 3 sets of these adorable mittens, and I do love that they're kind of turquoise in a very like earthy way. And I feel like because they're mittens, I should knit a special cardigan for Fresh Coast Fiber Fest, and that will be like my, instead of my Rhinebeck sweater, it'll be my Fresh Coast sweater cardigan. And these mittens will be the nod to like it being a Michigan thing, since Michigan is the mitten state. So that was Hoof. And then I also bought buttons from a lovely button booth called Lisa Peters. And this is what I brought home from her. Let's see if I can get this to focus well. But I also am doing a custom order from her, which when that arrives, I'll tell you all about that. These were just too cute because believe it or not, my aesthetic is earthy and kind of neutral. I know that's crazy to say as a yarn dyer, but it's true. I could wear all black and like earth tones all the time. Maybe. I don't know. I do love a good pop of color. So that's it for buttons. The one skein of yarn I bought I only bought one skein the whole weekend, was from Primrose, who I buy from every year. I don't think I have knit any of the yarn I bought from Primrose before. I'm looking at my yarn stash. But I only bought one skein. Why did I buy one skein? I have no idea. I should have bought two. I think at this point my brain might have been fried. But this is the colorway Painted Desert. Maybe I should just order another one. Maybe I should pick a pattern. That's what I should do. I should pick a pattern and put this into it. That would be smart. Again, this kind of has the turquoise theme that we saw on the mitten buttons, that we saw on here. I seem to have a theme. So I'm excited to have that. Should I show you the yarn I bought from them before? Let's do that. Hold that thought. Okay, I thought I had more from them, but I can't find it easily. This is called Falling for You. And this is in their Homestead Sport, which this is too. Come on now. Like, this is totally my palette. Gosh, I should just pick something to knit with it. Exciting. Okay, let me put this over here so it doesn't get mixed up. I'm going to put this by my computer so I think about this. Okay. Oh. Every year I buy soap from Periwinkles at Rhinebeck. They have a booth at the New York Sheep and Wool Festival, but they also have a shop in downtown Rhinebeck. My husband loves, like, you know, shea butter, goat milk, olive oil soaps, all that stuff. He has sensitive skin, and so do I. And I do love a good sugar scrub. So I bought quite a lot. Because last year I bought several bars, and then I ended up calling them Honey Almond. I called them and ordered more, so I figured I'd save myself the shipping. Brown Sugar Fig, I think I got 2 of those. And then I got Autumn Harvest. I wish you could smell these. These smell so good. Vanilla Oatmeal, amazing. I am obsessed with this soap. Ooh, you guys, can I tell you a secret? A soap maker just applied to vend at the festival, and I am jazzed, like really jazzed. Now I have soap bits all over my sweater. That's attractive. Okay, the only stuff I have left is spinning fiber. So if that's not your jam, well, you know what? Just stay through it. I'll make it quick because I want to tell you the funny story about the crazy thing that happened. But every year I buy one of these from the sheep shed at Mountain View Farm. And when I got there this past weekend, there was very little left. So, in fact, there was a lot of this, which is BFL. It's a ½ pound. So I got one because I thought, hold that thought, I thought I had previously bought a BFL, whatever we're going to call that thing. But turns out I just saw that this is not BFL. This is Polworth. So I guess it's going to be a blend. And this, which I also previously bought, is Shetland. So, like, we might just be blending our hearts out. And then one year, apparently I was smart, I bought 2 of the same thing. This is BFL. So now I have basically all of this. All of this comes to 2.5 pounds, which is the equivalent of like, what do we want to call it? 10 skeins. I could, in theory, I should get another, I don't know what I want to do. If you're a spinner, what would you do with all this? I don't have to put it all together, but it's a thought. But what I do need to do is do something with it because it's just taking up room. And that is just, it's too much because I also have fleeces. I have a fleece that I haven't even carded that I bought last year at Rhinebeck. I have a fleece that I've carded and not spun. I have 2 alpaca fleeces that I got in Michigan earlier this year. And then my crazy self went and bought 2 more fleeces. I couldn't help myself. Rhinebeck is the only time that I can actually like take my time and look over a ton of fleece, and the fleece barn is so good. Let me just tell you this. One of the people I met finally in person this past weekend at Rhinebeck is Taylor Owen, who is a podcaster. I love her podcast. She is so calm. She is such a good human. She makes the most beautiful projects, and she's a designer. I have several of her patterns in my queue. Love her aesthetic. Last year I saw her in the sheep barn, and I did not get a chance to say hi. But this year we actually met and we watch each other's podcasts, which is so lovely. I love her. Anyway, her talking on her podcast over the past few years that I've watched has inspired my process of buying a sheep fleece. So I used that in buying this year's fleeces. And this was fun. Last year I bought a Gotland fleece that was very gray. And this year I bought a Gotland fleece that is obviously very black. But look at that. I mean, look at these locks. It is so crazy. This fleece, it is 4 pounds. This fleece there are 6 categories on the scorecard. And on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the highest. And it got all 5s. That means this fleece is awesome. So I just want to show you, like, look at that staple length. That is so good. And that crimp. Oh my God. I'm so excited. It doesn't smell anymore. It kind of smelled the day I got it. I was worried that my crew would complain that it was stinking up the car. But it didn't. So this year I knew I wanted dark fleeces. I love a dark sweater. And that is kind of where my brain is at right now. So I was really only looking at the dark fleeces. Thus, that black Gotland, which I think that one has like very little information. Oh, that's because they took the card. Shoot. Now I don't know who it's from. No, I have a piece of paper somewhere. I just have to find the piece of paper. Shoot, I wish they wouldn't take the little tag that tells you the name of the farm. But anyway, this one I came across while I was on the hunt for a Shetland fleece. This was 3 pounds. And that little yellow ribbon in there is, drumroll, a yellow ribbon. It got 3rd place in the New York Sheep and Wool Fleece Contest for primitive fine wool breeds. This scored all 5s. Very nice hand spinner's fleece. Clean, soft, great color. So let me show you the great color. It's like a total mix of like, you're probably looking at it like, Jamie, that doesn't look, that just looks like a pile of hair. Let me just set this down so I can get like a little bit in my hand. Look at all those like shades of brown. So let me get a smaller chunk. I don't think I've ever knit with Shetland wool before. But look at that. It really is super clean. I don't know if you can even like really see. It has beautiful crimp. It's like kind of subtle. I think this will be really nice to card. Look at that. Ain't she cute? I'm excited. So, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. To be determined. We'll see, but it has such nice lanolin in it. Now my hands feel all moisturized. I'm really excited. In fact, I think this weekend, while I dye some yarn, I will scour these fleeces. Maybe I'll put on my Instagram, you know, like the before and after. So, that's it. That's my haul. I only bought 1 skein. I bought 2 fleeces, some fiber, and a bunch of goodies. And every single one of these vendors were tremendous to speak with. I had a great time. Now let me tell you the story. We're going to need some wine for this. So on the way, like I said, we stopped at an Airbnb in Pennsylvania. And it was kind of in the country. We got there late. We were all tired. We just needed a place to stop for the night. So we walk in. The lights were hard to find. And there were, what's it called? Taxidermy everywhere. I'm going to insert some photos so you get the vibe. But for a girls trip, this was not the vibe that we were going for. And I looked back in the photos on Airbnb, like, I don't remember seeing all these dead animals. No worries. They're dead. It's fine. They're not going anywhere. But the house was a little weird. So, and the bedding was really old. So we wake up the next morning, we get right on the road, we head out, we get to upstate New York to our next Airbnb. I thought, you know, usually like you can check in early, they send you the little message with the keypad code and all that. No, I didn't get that. I'm trying to message him. We have no reception where we're at. We couldn't get on the Wi-Fi because we hadn't gotten in the house yet. And then I later realized I could see the Wi-Fi code on Airbnb. And so if I stood next to the house, I could get on the Wi-Fi to try to message him, can we check in early? Well, he never messaged back. So we're like, let's go get groceries and we'll come back. And by the time we're back, it'll be the official check-in time. And I'm sure we'll have gotten the code. So, which is exactly what happens. So we bring all of our bags in the house, including the groceries. We unpack the groceries, we put the stuff in the fridge and the snacks and the stuff that didn't need to be refrigerated on the counter. And by this point, we're all hungry. We had intended on going on a hike and we just were tired. We'd been on the road. We just wanted a snack, a drink, and an evening of knitting. And there's a big kitchen island and I'm standing on the side of the island with my back to the stove and the counter. And I think someone was next to me and the others were on the other side of the island. And we're chit-chatting. And here's where it takes a turn. All of a sudden, one of the girls in my group says to me, ever so calmly, Jamie, there is a mouse behind you. And I'm like, what? I don't think I understood the words that were being said. And she said it again. There's a mouse running all over the food on the counter. Oh my God. I lost it. Everybody else lost it. This thing was like this big, the size of like, ugh. I want to like properly illustrate, like this big. This thing was fast. We could not corner this freaking mouse. Now there's 5 of us in the kitchen going after it, all screaming like little girls. It was a disaster. I needed to remove myself. So I went upstairs. I tried to get on the phone with the host of the house. I tried to get on the phone with Airbnb. The reception was just terrible in this house. The Wi-Fi sucked. My irritation was going up. Finally, I get on the phone with this guy who was very nice, but he was like, Jamie, it's a farmhouse. It's fall. There's going to be mice. And I'm like, no, sorry. I organized this trip for my friends. I booked the house. We paid our money. We're not having freaking vermin in the house on the groceries. I was dying. I was dying inside, like moment by moment. So I can hear them all downstairs trying to catch this mouse. And apparently, at some point, it ran into the hallway closet. So I'm like, is it in there? We could hear it in there. So we barricaded in. So now I'm on the phone with Airbnb, and we're like, in my mind, I'm like, we got to get out of here. This is nasty. This is funky. We're not doing this. My friends were like, we're sure it's done. It's over. He's in the closet. We'll just get like sanitizer wipes and we'll wipe down everything and it'll be fine. I'm like, no, I'm going to have nightmares, which I did for the rest of the weekend. In fact, I had a nightmare about it last night. So it's still in my brain. So we wipe down everything. We're like, they want to stay. Okay. We wipe down everything multiple times. And by this point, we're hangry. So I start cooking some chicken. I put some potatoes in the oven. I'm still on the phone with Airbnb to figure out, like, are we getting a new house? Are we getting refunded? It's upstate New York, Rhinebeck weekend. There's not that many Airbnbs available. I think they sent me one. They were like, oh yeah, you can book this one. It's $5,000 for the next 2 nights. I'm like, no. So we're cooking. And all of a sudden I look over and I see another one. Like, come down the curtains, run over a stool, run to the fridge, run up the side of the fridge. And this time I was ready for this mofo. I was like, you are not messing up the rest of my night. So I'm standing there ready, waiting, because now I know that there must be a path. Like, they followed the scent. So I'm like, give me a bowl, give me a bowl. I'm like screaming to my friends to get me a bowl. So finally they're like, what? I'm like, give me a mug. I knew there were some mugs over there. So we get a mug and I get a cookie sheet. And I like corner this thing in with the cookie sheet. And then I get the mug over him. And I'm like, got him. And my friends are like, are you sure you got him? I said, yes, I can see his little foot sticking out from under the mug. I got him. So now I put something heavy on top. And I'm like, he's not going anywhere. Done. We figure out during this fiasco that there was like one of those portable AC units in the window. And it caused enough of a crack that they were coming in through there. And the reason why they were coming in, obviously, was that they were smelling the groceries. So we closed the window. We wiped down everything again. By this point, the host had called the neighbor because we were like, we're not dealing with this. The neighbor guy came over. He was very nice. He was very cute. The host called him Michael in quotes. And we just thought that was the funniest thing. We were like, is his name not Michael? Or are, like, what is that? What do the quotes mean? But he comes in and he gets the mug. He slides the mug onto the cookie sheet, so it's like this. And by this point, we're eating dinner, mind you, by the time he came over. He takes the mug and the mouse and the cookie sheet all together, enclosed, out of the house, down the hill, and releases the mouse into the wild. He brings mice traps and he sets them up around the house. They never caught anything else, mind you, because we closed the window. Problem solved. And the mouse that was in the closet stayed barricaded for the rest of the weekend. At some point, we heard him stop scratching. R.I.P. Mr. Mouse. So we're chatting with Michael, and he says, so what are you folks doing, in this part of the state for the weekend? And we said, oh, we're here for a knitting festival. And I'm sure a lot of people in upstate New York have heard of the New York Sheep and Wool Festival. Right? Like, especially if you live in Rhinebeck or Saugerties, where the events are. So he says to me, he kind of didn't really know what I was talking about when I mentioned it. But he said, oh, I work at a venue that hosted a festival a few years ago. And it was a lot of craziness and damage to the venue. And I had to do a lot of work because of it. And I said, oh, how many years ago was that? And he said, I think it was 2 years ago. And I said, oh, I know what you were talking about. Was that at the Foreland? And he's like, yeah. And he looks down at his hoodie that he was wearing. He's like, see? And I realized that his sweatshirt said the Foreland. Well, he works there. I hope I'm not getting him in trouble. He didn't say anything inappropriate. But he said he worked that event, which was, if you're not familiar, Woolen Folk. The Woolen Folk, where it rained, and the event organizer really botched things up. And I was there. I witnessed a lot. I learned so much from it that I took to heart in case I ever organized a fiber festival, which now here we are. Anyway, he was telling me all about his experience being an employee of the venue. And I told him my experience being an attendee at the venue for that festival. It was very interesting. Anyway, for the rest of the weekend, we had no mice problems, but trust and believe, like I said, I've had nightmares. It was just a debacle. And, so yeah. I forgot to share about this beautiful Gotland pelt that I bought at New York Sheep and Wool. And so forgive the poor lighting, but you may have seen it behind me during the video, and I'm just super excited about it. I mean, look at the curls. I love a good sheepskin, so excited. But all in all, a good trip, a good haul. I love going to upstate New York every year for this, and I can't wait to see what next year holds. So anyway, I'm at 45-ish minutes unedited. So this episode is a little lengthy. I apologize for that. But thanks for joining me. Next episode, I'll talk about what I've been making and some other fun stuff. But until next time, happy knitting, happy crochet, happy spinning. Bye!